This is Tuesday, May 25th, and I'm about to show you my character who is spouting the words of a star in the Republican Party these days. And if you look at this woman as a star in the Republican Party, you know how far down the Republican Party has fallen. Because this person spouted these actual words that you are about to hear. This person that I am referring to is Marjorie Taylor Greene, staunch advocate of the right-wing QAnon movement, a believer in the theories that have blended anti-Chinese and anti-Jewish tropes with fears of vaccines and the creation of a global plot to take over the world. This is a shift from the lies, the wild lies that the QAnon movement spread before the election and after the election in order to try and keep President Trump in office. So now I want you to listen to her lunatic take on mask wearing.
You know, we can look back in a time in history where people were told to wear a gold star, and they were definitely treated like second-class citizens, so much so that they were put in trains and taken to gas chambers in Nazi Germany. And this is exactly the type of abuse that Nancy Pelosi is talking about.
Hard to believe that a major elected official to one of the highest-ranking political offices in the country would make a statement like that, comparing the having to wear a mask with the atrocities that were connected to the killing of 6 million Jews, comparing the star to the mask, where the star was almost certain death, and the mask represents the fight for life, a medical necessity, while the star meant being worked to death and then thrown into the gas chambers. Is that what the Republican Party now represents? That they have an elected official speaking those words, and later on she speaks more words defending herself of the words that she is saying? That she has the balls to compare Nancy Pelosi to Hitler? And as far as I know, no one in Republican leadership has stepped up and spoken against the words that have come out of her mouth. So one can say that the Republican leadership agrees with everything she says. Then, when questioned by some of the news media, she gave this defense of her position.
We shouldn't be having this kind of treatment. No one should be treated like a second-class citizen for saying I don't need to wear a mask or saying that my medical records are my privacy based on my HIPAA rights. And so I stand by all of my statements. I said nothing wrong. And I think any rational Jewish person didn't like what happened in Nazi Germany, and any rational Jewish person doesn't like what's happening with overbearing mask mandates and overbearing vaccine policies.
Do you understand, though, why some would be upset and offended by the comment?
Well, do you understand how people feel about being forced to wear masks or being forced to have to take a vaccine or even have to say that whether they've...
Why does she believe she was treated like a second-class citizen? Just the mere fact that she could stand up there and say these ridiculous things indicates that she's more than a second-class citizen. So if she thinks that being treated like a second-class citizen is the way the Jews were treated in Germany, she is so far off base that it's ridiculous. Because the Germans didn't treat them like second-class citizens. They treated them like cattle, herding them, rousting them from their homes, packing them like sardines into these boxcars that brought them to the concentration camps. That was not the treatment of second-class citizens. The woman doesn't understand what she's talking about. And the Republican Party, by keeping quiet, is agreeing with her. So she stands by her statements, and then she declares that any rational Jewish person would be agreeing with her. Well, I'm a rational Jewish person, and I strongly disagree with everything this bitch has to say. No rational Jewish person would agree with anything she has said about the Holocaust. The Holocaust was one of the world's greatest tragedies, and mask wearing doesn't come near the Holocaust. So she's got her view of the world completely twisted out of shape. She has no business being in Congress. She has no business being allowed to speak at all, because her words are the words of a moron. There is no reason for anyone to talk and compare the Holocaust to anything. The Holocaust stands by itself in history, stands as one of the evil deeds that should only be thought of as never again. Silence of the Republican leadership and the Republican Party in general leads me to the conclusion that Marjorie Taylor Greene represents a large segment of their voting population, and therefore they are terrified of censuring her. And that is a terrible situation for the rest of this country, because if she represents enough voters to keep the Republicans quiet, then this country is in sad shape. So I will leave you with that, and I'll see you in the morning. Bye.